Everyone, and welcome to Tea Talk. I'm so happy to have you here today, and I have a very important subject to talk about today. Many of us are baby boomers, and if you don't know what a baby boomer is, that's people who were born in the 50s and the 60s, and there were so many of us. So the aging population is starting to manifest now. And so people that were born in the 50s and the 60s are now in their 60s and 70s. And because of the rising issues of healthcare, we're learning more about how to take care of our bodies. But back in the day, there were not a lot of things to know how to take care of our bodies. We just had medication, or either something happened and we tried to be reactive more than proactive. But what do you do when you find yourself that you have a loved one that you cannot take care of by yourself? And I say that they're up in age, but really it can be anyone, because it could be someone that had a car accident and now they cannot take care of themselves. But it's really greatly magnified by the fact that we have so many aging parents coming up. And so now you have people who are aging, taking care of their aging parents, our loved ones, because people are living longer. But they don't, as I said before, you don't have to be an older person to need to be cared for. You just need to have a situation where you cannot do it by yourself, and you need to have someone to help you, or either someone to help take care of a loved one for you. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about that. So go ahead and share with your neighbors and let people know, because if it hasn't happened to you, just keep living. You will need it yourself, for your mom, for you, or somebody. And so it's good to have long life. But the reality is, there are some times when you just can't do it by yourself. And so we don't want you to feel stressed out, which is what can happen to a lot of people. You can be stressed out, burned out. And our guest today is going to tell you all about that stress and burnout and what to do about it. They're going to give you some resources on where to go find this, or, or where, who can do this for you, or even things that you don't even know that are that can help you. They're going to give you a lot of information and resources, and then share with you their stories on how they became a caregiver, or either how they needed someone to help them. So it's a lot of information. It's going to be information that everybody's going to need to know at some day and time. So go ahead and call your neighbors and your friends and share with them this information as we welcome our guest today to Tea Talk. We have two ladies here, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves in a minute and tell you about how they became a caregiver, tell you about their life and what if they ever thought they would be in this situation. So we're going to talk about it today. We're just going to keep it real and get all that information out there. So we have Chef Nettie is Annette Burnham, and we call her Chef Nettie here. And then Sister Faye Ball, and a lot of people, we call her Mama Faye. She's on that prayer line every morning. But both of them have had experience. So welcome to Tea Talk, ladies. And why don't y'all start by introducing yourself and telling a little bit about you, and then answer the question, did you ever think you would be a caregiver or need these services? So why don't you start first, Chef Nettie?
Well, hello there, everyone. So glad that I have the opportunity to do this, talk about caregiving. I am Chef Nettie, Annette Burnham. I think I first started being a caregiver with my children, because you do have children, and that's the training part, I think.
Okay.
And later on, in the years after they had gone, my dad, he had come down here from Chicago. He lived a long life. Honestly, he died when he was 95. And but before then, he had had a lot of complications, back surgery, strokes, a lot of strokes. And the first thing that I suggest that you do as a caregiver, first, pray. Because I tell you, you're going to need much prayer. You're going to need patience. And I tell you, if you don't have the patience, the care, the kindness, in your heart, caregiving is going to be really hard for you. Patience.
So did you think that you would be doing this? And did you think about this when your dad was younger, that you would be a caregiver to him and what that was?
No, I did not. I was like, plus I didn't want to take care of him. He was, no, I did not
Let's
want to
just
do
keep it
that.
real. Sometimes we don't want to do
Right.
it, but it's our loved one.
Exactly.
And we have to do
You
it.
have to.
Yeah.
And
you
we
really,
didn't want him in a nursing home. We wanted to do it. It's two siblings, my sister and I. And so we wanted to do it. We had lots of grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren, and they helped. And so it was a blessing in that instant. And even coming to church, we had help, because when he wanted to come to church, everyone would help him out the car, get him seated.
give you a break.
Right.
Let me bring Sister Faye in and let her introduce herself. We're going to talk about all of those different instances, because you said quite a few things there about support from the church and from other people, your grandchildren. Who can you get to help you with this? So hold on to that for just a minute.
Okay.
Sister Faye, hello, how are you? And welcome to Tea Talk.
Thank you, Lady O. Thank you for having me on to give my little spiel. But my name is Faye Ball, and I am a member there at First Med, and I became a caregiver for my husband, Ella Sammy Ball. And like you had asked Chef Nettie, did you ever think that you would be a caregiver for a loved one? I would never, ever would have thought that I would have been a caregiver for my husband. Not at all, because he was a strong man. He was a man of God. He loving and kind, and just, you just didn't think anything would happen to him. I would thought that he would outlive me, for one thing. And when he became ill, it started back in California, but we didn't know what was going on with him until we got to Texas. When we moved to Texas, things started progressing, and little things that he was doing that we wasn't for sure what it was. And I thank God for Bishop and Lady O leading us to Dr. Ayola, that she diagnosed him, along with, after sending us to specialists and stuff. And as his illness progressed, then after a while, he was walking good. Then after a while, he was on a cane. Then he was on a walker. And but I tell you, it was just a progressing thing. And all of a sudden, it just started progressing faster than we thought. But the doctor had told us that was going to happen. But I wasn't believing that, because I was trusting in God. And we would pray all the time. The Shekinah Glory prayer line was praying all the time for him. And I know Bishop and Lady O was praying for him all the time for healing. And we believed that. And but it was really hard to accept that I have to now take care of my husband, which I didn't mind, because it says through sickness and in health, to death do us apart. And I was going to stand by my vows. And I loved my husband because he was a caregiver to us, me and my girls and the grandkids,
Right.
And
I think too, Sister Faye, you said I want to jump on a couple of things, because you guys have so much information, and I think you just kind of say it, but it's a lot that people need to kind of digest. Okay. And Sister Faye, now how old was Brother Samuel, Elder Samuel, when he passed away?
He was 63.
So, when people get old, you think of them as being like Chef Nettie, I knew your dad too, but 95, you expect to be doing caregiving. But 30 years earlier to 62, you don't expect that. So I think one of the things you said earlier was that you've got to reach out and get some help to find out what the situation is. And once you do, you've got to accept What was it like when did you sit down one day and just say, wow, this is a situation that I've got to be a caregiver? When did that reality hit you?
The reality hit me when he started falling, wasn't able to really take care of himself as far as getting up, getting his food,
Yeah.
whatever, and helping them in and out the car and stuff. And all them things started happening. And I'm like,
Wait a
oh
minute.
my God,
Yeah. This is really happening. And
this is really happening.
This is really happening. And I think that for you being so young, because you're younger than he was, so therefore, and I know how big he was. He was a huge man. So
Yeah.
trying to get a person to keep them from falling when they're much bigger than you are. So I guess the next thing first thing you got to do is get the help. And when you finally come to the realization that, hey, this is it, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life, or for the rest of my loved one's life. And I think that reality says, what do you do? Where do you go to get information and help? So Chef, I'll let you go first. What was the first place you went to for help once you realized, hey, this is going to be for life?
Well, we spoke with Erica, and of course she helped us to get some things done. And then he was a veteran, and so we went to the VA as well to start getting some help, some benefits, that he could have an extra caregiver, he could have extra supplies that he needed, extra food, because at one time we couldn't take care of him totally. Well, we were working, my sister was working, so someone had to fill in. Now, when we started noticing things was when we'd come home and the water was running constantly, and it had been running all day, or he had put a pot on and forgot about. Start noticing little things where, okay, well, we're going to need someone here, and then I had to do the preparation of food because he loved to eat. And so he wouldn't eat anything. So you also have to prepare, especially dietary needs that they need, you have to go through that. So there's a whole process of, even before you get to the before, and like you say, you sit down and you're like, well, wow, what am I going to do? And sometimes it comes so quick that you really don't have time to sit down and think about it. You have to be thinking and processing and moving.
It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. It's like, so going back to, what I was saying, and you mentioned Erica, and I know that I sent Erica to talk to you too, Sister Faye, but people may not know what an Erica is. They don't know. So Erica had a business that would find resources for you. And so at that time, I knew several places to go. Can you all give them specific, because Erica's not in business anymore. What would that title be? Sister Faye, did you have any places that you could go, a resource company or something?
Yeah, it was the company that Erica got me hooked up with, because my husband also was a veteran. but for some reason, VA did not try to help us at all. And I just thank God for his job that he, he had his insurance and he had very good insurance. So thank God his insurance was able to pick up a lot of things that we couldn't have, gotten through.
Did you know to go to the insurance company, or is it a certain, because I mean, you go if they're sick, but if they're like having this long-term, I know some people say you need to have long-term care insurance. Was it regular insurance? Because typically regular insurance doesn't cover it, right?
No, our regular insurance covered his long-term care,
Good.
the hospice, because he eventually had to get on hospice.
Right.
And thank God that's what Erica guided us to, a company there in Katy, that he was able to get on hospice, and the insurance covered everything there to whatever he needed.
Right. And you know, with the hospital, I want to say something because I did meet with Erica a lot during that time because of her company and the other people who were the resources. And something I did not know was that hospice does not mean the person is going to die. So even though you're caring for someone who may not be going to die, you can still get hospice care, and so people don't want to talk about it because they think, oh, it means they're going to die. No, it's the care that you need that gives you all kind of extra things that you can get. Can you talk about some of the things you were able to get that being in a hospice care that you were able to get?
Yes, we were able, and like you said, Lady O, it's not that saying that they're ready to die. And my mother-in-law, she stands on it that hospice, they just kill you. They don't take care of you. They trying to get you out of here. But it's not. And we had to get her to understand, because she was very upset when I told her that he's going on hospice, and she was really upset, kind of with me on that.
Okay. Okay, continue on. There was a little glitch there, so I didn't want to miss it. Okay, go ahead and finish.
And they help in so many areas. That's how you don't have to worry about your supplies. You don't have to worry about the medication. They set all that up for you. They set up, if you need a bath nurse to come out to assist you with bathing.
Let me on that part there, because I think a lot of things too, we want to make sure people understand when you say they help you with everything with you use the word pretty much the equipment, the kind of equipment that you don't even know to ask for, a porta potty, a potty where they can put next to the bed, the lift. I remember at your house you had this lift that you couldn't lift him out of the bed, so that it's this. Is it called a harness or lift or something?
A harness, yes, a horse.
And because you got to get them up and put them in, in the chair, in the bed. No, and that's a big
tub, in the shower.
Oh, that's the kind of equipment that you don't know to ask for. And a lot of time, I remember when, even when I was talking, you were still lifting him, and I was like, you are lifting him. Because I knew there was stuff, but I didn't know, but you don't even know what to ask for. You don't know what's available. So, and I know, Chef Nettie, you taking care of people. And so when you're caring for them, that equipment is how important it is to have the right equipment.
Well, to your body, it's very important because you could wind up throwing your back out. But you were asking about agencies also. It's a lot of research. You have to do research, like the Department of Aging, it's a list, and then they might refer you to a counselor where you can have a person to come out and they'll assess the situation. They'll assess his mobility, immobility, of what they can or cannot do. And then that's how you know about the equipment, back braces. Sometimes you may even have to reconstruct your home, get rid of a tub and make it a shower. because you have to take care of them, then they might even need a table where you can roll it over the bed to feed them.
Mhm.
There's like the people that I had to take care of, Mr. Stewart, he had to have a horse because he couldn't move for a while. Versus started out with a cane, then a walker, then a wheelchair. Then all of a sudden he was like dead weight. And to constantly be able to lift that dead weight, it'll pull you down, it'll pull your body down. And so there's lots of things that they supply you with, Pampers, all kinds of
And the
things.
Pampers I think they're free, or they're part of Medicare or some part of the.
Some you might have to,
Some.
because you have to be approved of
Okay.
most things. And so while you're waiting for those things to be approved, then you have to come out of your pocket, or the insurance, or like the VA may help you, but other than that, you may come out of the pocket for a lot of things.
And I know they also
Yeah.
will bring them to your door, like the big boxes of Pampers and things.
Mhm, mhm.
You can have them delivered to your door. And
Yeah.
I don't know if that's part of Medicare or your insurance company, how you would find out about getting delivery of the things to your door.
It's both. You have to do a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
research. There's a lot of
Mhm.
research involved, because with so many people, as you said, aging, the increased amount of people needing these things, then it's really hard. So you have to assess your situation, because each situation is different. Each person is different. And so where I may need just diapers, or the pads for the bed, you may not need all of that, or you may not need a bedpan. I may need a bedpan, or even the catheter, some need catheters. It's
It's
lots.
individualized based
Yes,
upon what they need.
Right.
And that particular nurse or
absolutely.
will come out and assess the situation, see
Yeah.
what your particular loved one needs, and
Absolutely.
with the doctors and so forth, and get a plan for you. Sister Faye, you said another thing too that I thought was we wanted to go back over, that they will come out there and set up your room for you, because you got your regular bedroom, and
Mhm.
the regular bed, sometimes they cannot sleep in.
Yeah.
They have to sleep on a separate kind of bed that's more easy to get them up, get them down, and
Medical
even
bed. Yeah.
to turn,
Yes.
and it
Yeah.
can let you down like a hospital. So did
Right.
they come out and set up your room for you? Is that what you were saying?
They came out and they did bring the hospital bed for us, and they set that up, and I was able to push. I didn't do it, but they did. They pushed my bed to the side and put his bed up, so we were in the same room.
Oh,
And
that's
yes, and so the nurses, that came out and assessed everything, they saw that he needed a hospital bed, so they recommended, like Chef Nettie said, you do have to do researches and stuff. And his doctor, which was a very good doctor, he put in the order for his bed. He put in an order for the horse. He put in an order for the bedside commode, which after a while, he wasn't able to use that because of him being able to transfer from the bed to there was kind of hard. And then to put him in the horse to go to the bedside commode, it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
And so that's when he had to end up really just putting on the Pampers all the time. And and that was a job too, that's
my God,
that's
that is something too, because you have a husband, a man that you look at as this big strong man, and now you're having to change his pamper, diaper, and really do everything for him. And I know you love him and know you don't mind doing it, but emotionally, let's talk about the emotional part of a caregiver, because I think that's when I literally I told Sister Faith, that's how I woke up this morning, heard you crying. I heard you in my spirit that you were crying. What's going on? And that's when I kind of got, so you need Erica, you need to do this because you weren't going out, you weren't doing this because you were staying there. What does it do to a caregiver emotionally? I know you, I'm not talking about that you don't want to do it. You love doing it, but just realistically, your emotions every day, what is that like?
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, I tell you, you get these emotions that just like you really want to kind of almost give up because it's so much on you, so much stress, so much constant doing. If I wasn't changing him, I was feeding him. If I wasn't feeding him, I was getting him up to go, you know. And
Okay.
you know, after a while, you know, you're not getting your rest at night
Yeah.
because he's calling you, you know, to turn him over because he can't stay on one side too long. So I have to get up during the night. And then sometime, and I really felt bad, and I had to go back and apologize to him a lot because, you know, you get frustrated, you know, not that, you know, you're not mad, but you just, your body is just wore down and you're just stressed out and you kind of lash out a little bit. And then I had to realize that that hurts his feelings when I did that. You know, he's thinking that that he's bothering me. You know,
Yeah.
I had to let him know, honey, you're not bothering me at all. But it's just sometimes it just gets to me sometime. And I said, what I say, I don't mean that. I don't mean that. Because he even got to the point one time, he said, honey, he said, won't you just look into a nursing home for me? Put me in a nursing home.
Yeah.
And I boo-hoo cried.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, don't ever, ever mention a nursing home. I said, as long as God give me breath in my body and strength for me to take care of you, that's what I would do. I would never put you in a nursing home. I said, I don't care what happens. You are not going in a nursing home. So please don't never mention that word again.
Yeah.
And he accepted that I was there for him, you know.
Yeah,
And
and that's the answer he wanted. But you know, when I talked to several people, and some people don't even want to discuss it, but sometimes you have to make that decision to put them in a home or somewhere
right.
that people can really care for them. I know when my husband's mother was needing care, and we tried to let her come be here with us, but we worked every day, and in the middle of the night, she was getting out, you're trying to get, we had an alarm system on. It was a constant, you can't even rest. So you can't sleep. So it was good that you were able to do that, but some people are not. And I just want to say to those of you that are listening, that what Sister Faith said is that you will get frustrated and you may say something, you just want to give up. And don't be bad or hard on yourself. It's normal. And just kind of get on back up and apologize and move on. But if it comes to the point where you just really can't do it, it's okay to find a really good place to put them. We have her in a facility that gives her 24-hour care. And because we just really could not do it. And she fell. One night she got up and fell trying to go to the restroom. And we didn't find her till the next morning. You know, and it's like, oh my God, she could have hit her head. We're just not equipped to do that. So, and she was a mother-in-law, so she wasn't sleeping in the room with us where we could, you know, keep up with her, everything she did every day. The way our house is figured, she was upstairs. So it was just so much danger. So I wanted to say that to say to some people, if you can do it, God bless you. That's a really great thing to do. But if you can't do it, do not kill yourself or destroy yourself with guilt and trying to do something that you just can't do. Everybody.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Go
You
ahead.
said that, but a lot of people, they still deal with the guilt. And then
Yeah.
not only that, you were talking, Sister Faye was talking about just the physical part. You also have to talk about the mental capacity of them as well, because with each disease or sickness, there comes different attitudes, different, and they don't know it, you know, but they, you know, they say things, they do things, they hit at you, and so that's where I say the patience and the kindness have to come in, because you're frustrated, they're frustrated. And so then, you don't want to, and it's so true. Don't feel guilty, because and if you do the best you can, then that's it. And back in the day, we used to just keep everybody at home. You said grandmama on the porch or grandpapa on the porch, and they were just, oh, they just old, and you just leave them there. But we can't do that now because laws have changed and people have changed. So yeah, not only the physical part, you got to
Yeah.
remember about the mental capacity
Of
that they,
the patient. And because I'm glad you brought that up, because some people get really, really old, but they still have their mental capacity to be able to reason and talk.
right.
Dementia is a big one now.
It
And I have
is.
several friends and one family member who's caring for a person with dementia. And she said that sometimes they can get violent because they think you're stolen all their stuff, and where's my house and where's my car? Because they're forgetting and they don't remember, or they can get violent with you. And so, in those times, you got to protect yourself, or if you have children in the house or whatever. So everybody is different, but I do say, if you can, and they're not, harmful to themselves or whatever, and you're not going to kill yourself, then, you do the best you can and don't feel guilty about it. Okay, everybody's
Right.
different. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But wow.
Yes, there.
Now, so the thing I was going to ask both of y'all too, do they provide counseling for you guys that are, because as a
Yes.
wife, I would think I would need some counseling. So Faye, what did you bring?
Yes, they give you a counselor that comes and check in on you once a week, or if you need to call them or anything, they'll come over, or if you're having problems with transportation. He had to have the ambulance take him to his doctor's appointment, and they usually help you set that up also to get transportation for them. And,
yeah, that's another thing too. I know when my dad was really, really ill toward his end, he could not get out of the wheelchair. So they'd have a van will come, but then you got to get them out to the van. It just takes hours to get them ready to go to the doctor's appointment, then hours at the doctor's appointment, then you come back home and it's hours getting them out and back into the bed and bathe and ready. It's a full-time job that professional nurses need to have a shift off. So I know, Ms. Faye, I was telling you about, Eric said there was a program where they would come and like sit in for you, where you could leave the house and go do the movies, whatever you want to do. Were you able to talk about that?
Yes, you set that up through your counselor guy. Well, it was a guy with me. And if you needed to go somewhere and you didn't have anyone to stay there with them, they will send a nurse over to sit with them while you go.
Okay.
And so I thought I liked that, which I didn't really have to use them that often, because I had my daughter Renisha, she was working, but she was still there in the evenings, and I call him my adopted son, Wilson. He was there that helped me out quite a bit also. So, but yeah, they will give you help.
Let's talk about the village, the people around you that you can reach out to help, and how do you reach out to help, and your kids, the church. Y'all were talking about that a little bit earlier. Chef Nettie, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, yeah, and I also want to tell you, I had one of each. I had one with dementia and one with Alzheimer's, and they are so different that it's unbelievable. And so, but the people that I work for, thank God that they were able to have almost 24-hour care, because they had to have it, because as you say, your mother-in-law, she would not run away, but mine would run away. Mine would escape, but it's a real it's just
Now,
hard.
tell us about that, because I do know, and I was wanting her to be on to be able to tell, how do you get 24-hour care in your home? Because she kept her mom and her dad in the home, and the dad just passed away. But how do you get 24-hour care and not go bankrupt?
You have to plan for it. Well, thank God her parents planned for it. They
Oh.
planned well for their finances. So the finances was used for that. She happened to be very, very blessed at, she had a job, she had a husband, and then they were financially blessed as well. So when it came time to utilize, that's what she utilized their money for, to get them, because it's very expensive to have 24-hour care.
No.
It's not a good paying job, but you have to pay. And if you want someone good, you have to pay them at least pretty well. And so what she would do, she would have the caregivers on the better half. And then by the time she would come home, they would already be fed, already put to bed. So that left the night. But then it came a time when even at nighttime, they needed care, because they would fall out the bed. They would, do a
Somebody
lot
had
of
to
things.
sit with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you
and
can't
and
just leave them.
the guy, he would have to be turned like every 4 hours,
Right.
because they
And
didn't
that's the
want him to
job
get,
of what nurses usually do.
yeah,
They turn.
yeah.
You can't just come and sit and watch TV.
No, you
So
cannot.
what would it be expected of an amount about what a person would cost? You pay them by the hour, or how would you pay?
Generally, they're paid by the hour. Some people you get through the agency, and then some people, like, you ask in your church, or if someone is that that does this kind of work, then you ask them. It runs anywhere between like $15 to $25 an hour. It depends on what you want them to
To
do.
do?
Yeah, you might have to just feed them, prepare the food, cook the food, then clean up behind them, take them to the bathroom, put their pajamas on. So it depends on their care, on the amount of care that they need. Yeah.
Sister Faye, did you have to pay for any of the caregivers, or was it all pretty much in your insurance?
All that was because I didn't have to have 24-hour care. All I basically needed was the bath nurse to come in to give him a bath, which was, I think it was like every other day. So on the days that they didn't come, I did it.
Right.
We also had, of course, he had therapies come in, speech therapists. Then when he was able to kind of walk still a little bit, we would have physical therapists come in,
doctors
occupational therapists.
Yeah, they're coming in to help. And then also, like you said, you have family living with you, which I'm sure that was a help. I can't imagine living alone and being a caregiver.
Oh, I couldn't see. I just thank God for Wilson, the young man he's not a young man, but thank God that he was there. And I always tell people, because they wonder why he was still with us. I said, only God knew what was going to be going on.
Yeah.
At that time, he know that I wouldn't have needed him.
Right.
Because we not knowing that Sammy was going to get down like that.
Yeah.
So God knew what the
I
future
did.
was going to be. If you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
And I tell you, he was a big help to me at nighttime when I have to get up and change him and stuff. If Wilson come out to go get water, whatever, he see my light on, he's coming there. You need some help. He was always there.
And you had your grandkids there who could go get water, who could go do little things.
Yes.
Your daughter. So I know. So family is very important. And I know also church is really important. So I know the guys will come over and have dinners and fish fries. I remember some of those we went to. So just to
they did.
Come over. Yeah. So church and family and friends is very important. To in between the gap. And so Chef Nettie, on your end too, pretty much I know that your clients, a couple of them went to a church camp. Is it called a church camp?
Yes. Yeah. Well, they call it a gathering.
Gathering, okay.
gathering, yeah.
It's kind
And
of like
they,
an adult child care center, right?
that's all, yeah, that's what it is. And they're amazing. You really need it because it gives them activities, it gives them interaction with other people. Now some you have to stay there with them, and it lasts maybe up anywhere between 3 to almost 5 hours at a time. And
Mm.
if you find the right ones, they are
Mhm.
amazing because they really take care of them. They give them activities, they feed you and them,
Yeah.
and it's a really good thing to have.
Like a Mother's Day Out program, they're not the
Absolutely.
whole
Yeah.
day,
Right?
but they're there today with some activities. You don't have to come up with the games and activities.
Nope, nope, they
And then
have it
they cook
all.
a meal, a warm meal for you guys, and they
Yeah.
love on you. And usually it's
Absolutely.
churches that do that. So those are some places you can reach out to. Like I said,
Absolutely.
you are gonna have to open up your mouth and share with people what you're going
Research.
through
You're
so
gonna have
they
to
can
Right.
research.
so
Yeah,
they can help.
Yes.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, you have to. You have to be open to wanting help and know that you need help because
Absolutely.
the help is there,
Yeah.
but
Right,
you have to open your mouth,
Mhm.
you
right.
know. And I thank God, like you say, for our village. And if it, I don't know where I would have went if it wasn't for Bishop and Lady O that led me to Erica,
Mhm.
and I thank God for my village at the church, and I tell you, when I will bring him to church, Brother Cherry, they would be there at that door waiting for me
Yeah.
to get him out the car and
Okay.
take him into church. I never had to do anything. Once I got him at the church, I didn't have to worry about anything.
Nope.
Yeah.
The
Church
And that's
man
home
where
was
is
it was.
so
there.
And
yeah,
that's where it
church
was
home
with
is
my dad
so
as
important. And
Yes.
also for your dad too. I know they
yeah,
would
yeah.
be
I could
coming up.
drop him off at the mature adults class and go to my class.
Yeah.
And so that's the amazing part about a village and a
A
Christian
village, yeah.
village, because you can leave. This is the most important thing. You have to be careful who you leave them in care of.
Yeah.
And so you
Yeah.
want them to be taken care of. You want them to still have some dignity about themselves as well, if it's in their capacity. And so with what I'd roll daddy up, they'd meet him at the front door and take him, and I wouldn't have to worry about him until after service. And so
Yeah.
it's very
And
important.
they both enjoyed coming to church.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's really,
Absolutely.
I mean, talk about that aspect. I know a lot of people may not think it's that important, but to have that relationship with God where people are praying for you, and even when you can't pray for yourself, that people will call you up.
Yes.
Like I said, when I literally did hear Sister Faye crying in my spirit that morning, and I said, I'm gonna call her and see what's going on.
Mhm.
But you gotta be able to open, because she could have said, I'm all right, nothing wrong. And I was thinking, like, I know what I heard now. But she was open and being receptive in that. And Erica's company, I wish that's one of the things y'all did not do well for this show. I apologize. I did not have the resources that you could contact. But hers was called what was the name of hers called? I almost said Pool Troopers. It's not Pool Troopers, it's
I can't remember.
yeah.
If
But
I was
any
at home, since I'm up here in Beaumont, if I was at home, I still have a lot of the information that
yeah.
I kind of kept, and I could have, pulled it out and,
Well, we'll see about putting some of it on the site, because we can add it in at the end. So after this show is over, we'll get some resources to put on there for you. And I would encourage you, if you're listening, that you would also write down some notes of some things that were good for you if you've ever done this, or if you've ever had to have that service before. So we're going to close out with this. What kind of advice, or we just have a few minutes left, that would you give someone that is going to be caring for a loved one? What kind of advice would you give them, just in the next like 60 seconds? You give some advice before you leave. Chef Nettie, you want to go first?
I would definitely make sure that I take care of myself. have to take care of yourself to keep mental capacity to give the care, to give the love, to have the patience that that person truly, truly needs. And so, and don't feel guilty about taking care of yourself. Have the airplane mode, put the mask on you first, and then you can save the person that you're taking care of. That's the only way you can do it. And reach out, open your mouth, like Sister Faith said, open your mouth and research. It'll make it so much easier, and don't feel that you have to do it all by yourself. There is
Okay.
help out there. Amen.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Sister Faye?
Yes, I'm along with Chef Nettie. You have to reach out and don't put yourself down because you're trying to take care of yourself, because I wasn't taking care of myself. I was more concerned about him. But then through my village, they had to tell me,
Mhm.
you got to take care of you. So how can you take care of him if you don't take care of yourself?
Absolutely.
And so I had to start taking the breaks. I started coming to church, and my daughter would stay home with him, or a Wilson to stay home with him to give me a break to come to church, you know, and or go to the grocery store just to get out, to get some air. And I just think a village is what you really need to, and don't be so hard on yourself, you know, because it can be done, but it's work. Caregiving is not an easy task.
It's not.
I would not tell anybody it's easy. It is not easy at all,
Nope.
but it's rewarding at the end when you see what you've done and you feel good about what you've done. And I felt good that I did do what I'm supposed to have done for my husband.
Wow.
And when he passed away, we know it was hurtful, but I was at peace that I know that I did
Mhm.
my wifely duty
Amen.
for him.
Amen.
That's good. That's good. It's a labor of love. And you know,
Yes.
when your loved ones are gone, because we all got to go at some time, but if that's their time and they do leave, it is really rewarding to know you did your best
Mhm.
and you have no regrets. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even if you have some regrets, you have to let it go because nobody's
Yeah.
perfect and you're gonna
Right.
make mistakes. And even because I know I had one friend of mine put his mother in a nursing home, and I think she died like that next week. I mean, she just couldn't take it, and he
Wow.
felt so bad. But you know, he did what he had to do, and it wasn't something that you need to down yourself for. Give yourself freedom to make mistakes and understand that
Yes.
you are human. Take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. And when you've done all you can do,
Yeah.
release them to someone who can do what you can't do. Don't let them sit there and not be taken care of because you just can't do it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So listen, well, thank you
Yeah.
all so much. Did you have something else? I'm sorry. Okay.
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you all
Right.
so much for coming on, and listen, take care of yourself. And when you take care
Yeah.
of yourself and you have a village around you to help you to reach out,
Mhm.
you can take care of that loved one and do the best that you can be. You will be pleased, God will be pleased, and he will get the glory out of all of this. So listen,
Yeah.
that's all we have for today. Thank you for joining me for Tea Talk, and I'll see you again next Sunday at 3 for Tea with Lady O. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.